As it stands right now, a lot of people are not only they are not only seeing what Black Americans have gone through, they are not only seeing what Black Americans have been saying, but right now they are now hitting their chests and coming out for Black Americans. They now want to speak on behalf of Black Americans. See, I hope all these things people are doing is not because Black Americans said, we are no longer advocating for anybody, we are just sitting down, we don't want anybody. I hope that is not why people are doing this, so that Black America will start coming out for you guys. I'm just saying, because the rate at which I see videos right now, where Hispanics, Latino, Asian will not be like, oh, Black Americans are this, Black Americans are that. Honestly, it's they must surely follow the laws choosing. That's just the honest truth. We all know that Black Americans are the blueprint. We all know that there have been Black Americans existing in America even before Columbus and every other thing that literally happened, even before reclassification, even before changing a lot of things. We know that there were indigenous Black Americans. Or are you not aware too? But anyways, who am I? Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's go ahead and roll out the clip so that you guys can also hear what other races are saying. And I'll be back with commentaries. Make sure you tell me the honest truth. How do you feel listening to all of this in the comment section? Let's go watch, guys.
Seen this video?
I made a video on talking about how the sexual deviation of white men traces back from slave days, and they were literally raping black men, women, and children consistently, brutally, and daily. And when they lost the right to rape black men, women, and children, they moved on to their own children. And that's why we're finding out now that the fucking country and the world really is run by PDFs who rape fucking children, okay?
Now, I agree with a lot of things that she said in that video. However, I don't agree that they started with us. As I truly do believe that the first victims of the white man was his wife and his children. Let me cook, okay? I promise everything's going to make sense after I'm done. If we can say, generally speaking, that the first victim for men, right, just mankind was most likely his family. Same can be said for the white man. The first victims of the white man was his white wife and his white child. Any of the sick, twisted, disturbing urges that the white man could not suppress, he inflicted on his white wife and his white children first, because they were closest. You see, they've always been into that nasty stuff, the inbreeding, the touching of little children. They've always been into it. Slavery, American chattel slavery, gave them the justification to be able to continue without any accountability, without any guilt. When American slavery ended and they didn't want to stop, they just went back to doing it in their home. But they've always been doing it, and they did it with their own kind first. The earliest record of inbreeding comes from studying Neanderthals. Guess which races have Neanderthal DNA? There's only one group of people who do not have it at all, right? See, they say that now it's Asians. Following directly after is Europeans. But see, they also say that ancient farmers, ancient Europeans, they had the highest percentage of Neanderthal DNA. But since then, the numbers have lowered. Anywhere from 50,000 years ago to 120,000 years ago, you will find records of inbreeding with Neanderthals. Humans and Neanderthals. And then they showed you, well, I told you the races that have Neanderthal DNA, right? So this pattern, this way of living, this way of doing things, it's still present in a lot of populations today, which is why we still hear about it today. Now, the earliest record of an STD major outbreak, which took place in Europe, happened between the years of 1494 and 1495 with syphilis, right? All of these dates are important because I'm trying to build a timeline here. I'm trying to show you guys that it started with them. They were doing this shit to their own kind because it was present in their own kind. They moved on to doing it to us during American chattel slavery because they wanted to be absolved of guilt, absolved of accountability. They wanted to feel like they had the right to be able to do it. And then when American chattel slavery ended, right? When it ended, they just went back to doing it to their own kind. They went back to doing it into their homes. They went back to doing it amongst themselves because they refused to repent and stop from their wicked, nasty ways. Back to what I was saying though, whatever nastiness they were doing in Europe caused the first major STD outbreak in the world, right? With syphilis. This was in 1495. So by 1495, they knew whatever they were doing was creating STDs. Still did not make them stop though. It still didn't make them stop. Now let's touch on the inbreeding real quick, right? Do you guys know about the Spain Habsburgs, the Spaniard Habsburgs, right? That inbreeded so much that it ended their line and it produced what we now call the Habsburg jaw, which is a clear indication of inbreeding, right? Interbreeding, right? Okay. Their reign was from 1516 to the 1700s. In 1494 to 1495, you have the first major STD outbreak. By 1700s, you know inbreeding is not the way to go. We shouldn't do it because it's proven through the Habsburg line, the Spaniard Habsburg line, that it resulted in genetic defects and genetic mutations. You knew it was wrong, but they still did not want to stop. Do you know when American chattel slavery started? In late August of 1619. They did not meet us, find us, and become evil and nasty. They were already evil and nasty. They've been wicked and nasty, and they knew what they were doing is wrong. They knew that they needed to stop. As evolution was showing them that they needed to stop, they created STDs through these practices. They created a gang of mutated humans through this practice. But they didn't want to stop. And because American chattel slavery is built off the premise of dehumanizing the enslaved Africans, they were able to continue doing it. This was the loophole. If they didn't see you as human, what they were doing was no longer wrong because you weren't human. With American chattel slavery, these nasty, sick individuals were able to experience the full extent of their nastiness, of their wickedness, because they had absolved themselves from guilt, from accountability. And when American chattel slavery ended, when it was abolished, because they got so used to that nastiness, to that sickness, they didn't stop. They just went back to doing it inside of their homes. They went back to doing it inside of their homes. However, evolution and science still showed them what they were doing was wrong. And so, missing children here, missing women here, so they could continue doing what they're doing. And today, we now have the state of the world where a lot of the people that are in power still have that sick nastiness inside of them.
The spell is breaking. That's it. That's all. The spell is breaking. Trump's presence has broken the spell, or starting to break the spell, to the point people are waking up like, wait a minute. So everything that they've been telling us is untrue. People are starting to recognize the contradictions in laws, contradictions in the rules, contradictions in things that they've been told and things that they've been made to believe for so long. People are waking up. What you all are feeling right now is the transitional phase. Think about like how transitions can be very painful. They can be very difficult, but it's growing pains that's pertinent for your growth and for the next step. And so what we're dealing with right now, Trump had to be president right now. If Kamala became president, we'd still be okay with the 40+ hour work week. We'd still be okay not seeing our children as often because we have to work so much and we don't get to spend the time and we can't take vacations. And all we do is work to pay bills because, well, we've got these little things and these little things have been okay and I'm okay with this. But Trump being here has made people uncomfortable. Even his loyal supporters are like, sorry, guys, we might have done ourselves a disservice. And albeit uncomfortable, albeit annoying, this is exactly what has to happen. The spell was never going to be broken. And what spell do you say? The spell of indoctrination, the spell of capitalism, the spell of white supremacy, the spell of religion. All of these institutions are now breaking down because people are realizing The rules that they gave us are not the rules that they follow. The laws that they give us are not the laws that they follow. People are seeing in real time, you've been lied to. We've all been indoctrinated. We've all been indoctrinated to believe one thing or another. Black people have a completely different indoctrination than white people. However, you guys have to understand, it's not left versus right. It's not white versus black. It's not red versus blue. It's literally them versus us. We have to agree on a common enemy. I've been saying this in so many videos, in so many ways, and I guess I'm gonna just keep having to say it, that the spell is breaking right now. Americans are waking up and realizing they've been lied to in masses. There were already pockets of people that were waking up. There were already pockets of people that understood and knew. But now it's happening on a global scale. People are like, wait a minute. You told us if we voted in the primaries. You told us if we voted for our state officials. You told us. Nothing has mattered. Nothing has mattered, and people are waking up. The spell is breaking. It's going to be a little uncomfortable for a little while, but allow this to happen. This is what we need. This is what we need. We were never going to be able to change anything if everybody was still going to be asleep, upholding the very systems that have been oppressing us. People needed to wake up. They needed to get angry. MAGA is slowly but surely waking up. That group of people, they're just the henchmen. They're the guard dogs. Once they fully wake up and realize that they've been lied to and their cult leader is not someone that has their best interests at heart, they can then focus their attentions on the real enemy. And they can stop thinking it's black versus white, immigrants versus non-immigrants. It is very, very much so us versus them.
A lot of Black Americans are remembering. And remembering does not involve books. It's not something that you learned in school. Remembering is like an ancestral knowing. It's just a feeling that you know who you are. And I think that's what a lot of people are seeing now in this year 2025, with Black people delineating, with a lot of Black people remembering that their grandma used to call them Indian, Cherokee, Blackfoot, whatever. I think that the remembering will be one of the ways that Black Americans no longer support white supremacy and the tenets of white supremacy, one of which is the worship of the written word, and the fact that we don't need facts and stats and documentation to tell us who we are. When you know who you are, you know who you are. And I don't care what anyone says. I remember. And I think that waking up is not learning from books. I think when you wake up, you remember. You just remember you were asleep. And I think that's what they're trying to stop. And I think that Black Americans are doing that now. And no matter what people say, that is what we're going to continue to do. And I know that, we're going to get laughed at, we're going to get all these things, but I think remembering is the final phase, is the final step. And I see my people doing it now, and it makes me excited.
Honestly, everything that is being said in this video, I cannot tell you that they are not correct. Especially this particular lady that spoke about the spell is broken. That is really what is happening. That is really what is happening. Like, I just feel like God knew why they did what they actually did for the orange man to take over. God knew what will happen. I think God wanted to use this one as an eye-opening to a lot of Americans. Because I can tell you for a whole fact that there's a lot of awakening that is now looking more like it is right now that the chain is broken. It is right now that they're not seeing that how did we get here? Who did we offend? Why didn't we ever thought of this? It is now they are seeing it. Because literally over time, they were thinking, it's just a normal thing. After all, if another black woman takes over, there is nothing reasonable she's going to contribute. I feel like if Kamala Harris would have even taken over, this awakening that is happening wouldn't have been. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say. And that is why God allowed them to do what they actually did. Right now, the orange man is moving east, west, north, and south so that we can get what is called the Third World War. And have you sat down and now ask yourself why the calendar of 1914, I'm going to do that in a separate video, is the same with the calendar of 2026? Remember in 1914, we had a war, or the war started during that time. See, it's just a whole lot of awakening happened with this regime of the orange man. And it is not only happening in America, it is happening globally. Because even people that were hitting their chest to be like, oh, there is not, see, there is one of my pastors that you will not tell him anything to convince him that he will not like Donald Trump. But I can tell you for a whole fact that right now, he is now seeing every single thing that this man's regime has brought. The whole world is regretting why this man even became the president of America. Because in one way or the other, every single thing that affects America also affects us. I think I've said that in several videos. Now, seeing the Hispanics, seeing the Latinos, seeing different people waking up to say something because they knew that this is not the right time now to keep quiet. This is the time for all of us to speak. This is the time that Black Americans have literally been talking about. And I'm sorry, I don't know what's this. And now they're now understanding that the only people that understand the structure of how this country is being structured, they are Black Americans. They understood the structure to the point that it will be very hard. It will be very hard for you to give a Black American man that particular presidential seat and he will not do well. That's the honest truth. And I will still say this in my video. I hope a lot of them are not saying all of this because Black Americans are saying they are sitting back. You know, after Black America knew that we've told you guys everything, we've educated you guys, we've showed you guys everything that we need to show you, but still you people choose to be who you are, we're not going to say anything again. We are just going to sit down. We are just going to be looking at you people and see how a lot of things is going to unfold. A lot of them are now seeing realities and how reality is playing on them. Now they can't keep quiet. Now go on TikTok, go on Instagram, go on Facebook. You see Hispanics, you see Latinos, you see Asians speaking up. And they will keep saying and keep screaming, Black Americans said this. You think when they say Black Americans are actually the chosen people, you think it was just a joke? Or you think it was just another caption? It was never a caption. Black Americans were never saying it just because they don't have anything to say. They were never saying it just because that is just the only conversation they have to hold. No. They were saying it because they have seen the Genesis. They have seen the Exodus. They've seen Leviticus, even up to Revelation. And I so much love the awakening. I so much love it because a lot of them that are coming to now advocate for Black Americans are people that are die-hard MAGA's fan. People that can literally not say anything but give MAGAs their shots. In the video I uploaded yesterday, the counter-tourism of the United States, John Kent, resigned. In the wildest of all. A lot of people never saw that coming because John Kent was one of the persons that have stood with the orange man. He stood with him. He's a die-hard fan. He's a supporter. He stands as a veteran. But right now, what happened? He have seen that the place that this man actually wants to lead them to are the place that's on a normal sense, they are not supposed to be there. So it is high time they wake up to reality or reality will be done on them. The awakening is just so much. It's so broad. It's just so much. And I love that. I love it. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. And I want to say credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Disclaimers, this is just for educational purpose, not to come here ruffle on anyone's shoulder or defame anyone. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. Yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be seeing, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.